So Nancy Pelosi has been getting called out pretty consistently now for being elitist and out of touch. She is incredibly wealthy. I think she's worth like $100 million. She's really rich. But she was called out for the very expensive fridge and expensive ice cream incident back during the coronavirus pandemic. I believe that was the early throes. Then it was the hair salon incident, which she took zero accountability for anything like that. She's actually really narcissistic. It's crazy. Seems like you see that a lot in politicians, which makes sense. But now it's a third one. So the House had its orientation yesterday for its new members. So Democrat and GOP leaders were holding respective dinners. And you can see the picture here. This is the picture of the spacing of the dinner. So it says, Pelosi told me it's safe. It's very spaced, she said, and there's enhanced ventilation, and the Capitol physician signed off. So this is stupid for multiple reasons, because this really isn't safe, especially if you're having multiple people seated at an eating table. You know, there's going to be mingling between people. There's going to be mingling between people literally at the same table. You're not supposed to do that. But as people also pointed out, this is a really bad optical move, because right now COVID is surging, record-breaking numbers, you guys. We're really coming into this is really the second wave, you know, at least I view it that way. It's just gotten overshadowed by the election, but the numbers are going through the roof, man. Legitimate record numbers. So the fact that people are telling people, you know, you got to wear masks, limit your sort of meetings with a bunch of people, and they're even saying now, you know, Thanksgiving, don't really get together too much or too many people, because, you know, it can become super spreader incidents. That is typically how a lot of this will spread. One person gets it, goes to a family gathering, and then gives it to everybody. You know, I've seen it happen to people firsthand. So what's going on here is, this is the first time I've seen this criticism of Pelosi that has actually become unanimous and bipartisan. Because if you look through the people who are pissed off about this, it's literally everybody, including Democrats. So that kind of signals to me that people maybe are getting ready to get rid of Pelosi, possibly. I'm not really sure. It might be the beginning of the end for her, I'm thinking. But the ice cream incident, they went tooth and nail defense of Pelosi. I don't remember if they defended her salon incident, honestly. I didn't pay too much attention to that story. But now it is very clear that they're going after her. So what all the backlash caused was a cancellation. So this article from the Daily Beast says, Pelosi cancels in-person dinner for new representatives after backlash. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has canceled an in-person dinner honoring new Democratic members of Congress scheduled for Friday night. Drew Hamill, her deputy chief of staff, wrote on Twitter, our office strictly follows the guidance of the Office of Attending Physician, including for this dinner. To be a further model for this nation, this event has been modified to allow member-elects to pick up their meals to go in a socially distanced manner. There is no group dinner. Members-elect will now receive boxed meals. So the dinner has now been canceled after the backlash, but I don't know if, you know, liberals are going to really catch on to the sort of elitism that Pelosi, you know, shows and exhibits, and as well as the narcissism, actually, is what we've seen. I just did another video about Pelosi, about how she's refusing to take any blame for the failures for the Democrats in the House. She really, you know, reverberates a lot of this stuff. It's really disgusting. We see what happened with Dianne Feinstein and ACB. So I'm hoping people are, even liberals, I think, are starting to get ready to move towards people like Hakeem Jeffries, who are younger, you know, who are just as corporate, but they're a lot younger. So this is probably the beginning of the end for Pelosi, I would say. She's coming off as a really serious asshole. And now that I think of it, there was also that incident with the interview that she did on CNN. I think it was with Wolf Blitzer, and it was about the potential stimulus. Now she was saying no. And she came off really elitist in there, because instead of explaining the details, she would just say, no, that person isn't in negotiations. Comes off really elitist. And so when you look at a dinner like this, you know, that's elitism. If there's one word you can think of, it's elitism, because you have the privilege of doing a kind of thing like this when nobody else is allowed to do it or should be doing it. You're doing it. You're setting a bad example yourself. And, you know, it's horrible, man. I mean, it's truly remarkable just how bad Democrats are, period.